years ago, MMA came to Maysville. Tonight, an MMA event comes to Maysville for the first time. Hello everyone, I am Sean Ross Sapp here at the site of Empire Fight Series 1 at Early Wines Racing in Maysville, Kentucky. If you're watching online at EmpireFightSeries.com, we have a fantastic show for you in a very unique setting. We have several fighters making their amateur and pro debuts in perhaps the most hectic of settings in front of a hometown crowd. They have friends here, they have family here, and they are looking to impress. We have local favorites like Dylan Rink, who has had an outstanding amateur career thus far. We have Josh Leonard returning after 7 years away to please his hometown crowd. We have pro prospects like Luke Shawley, who has obliterated the amateur ranks. We have Brian McDowell, who is quite arguably one of the most decorated fighters to ever come from this area in the amateur ranks, looking to do that at the professional levels as well. And of course, we have Sean Asher, the local celebrity looking to make a splash. He is back in the cage after 3 years away, looking to capture a heavyweight title in what might be his first heavyweight fight ever. Empire Fight Series 1, we look to make this the first of many memories here in Maysville.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Empire Fight Series 1. I've got a few announcements to make. Number one, there's no recording of any kind of tonight's event. Violators will be asked to leave. Also, there is no smoking inside the venue, and that includes vaping. Also, we ask that you do not fight each other. We're going to keep that in the cage tonight. Special guest star at the table in the back, if you haven't gone to say hello to him yet, UFC legend and the first heavyweight champion, Mark Coleman, is signing autographs at the autograph booth. Also tonight we have a raffle going on that involves one of our ring girls. At this time I would like to bring the ring girls in to the cage. Introducing Shelly, Joni, and Gabriella. Tonight we're going to raffle off a photo of Shelly. She'll autograph for you if you win. We'll be selling those chances during the course of the evening. They're $1, or you get 12 chances for $10. We're going to show you that portrait in just a little bit here tonight as well. We want to point out our friends from Bud Light, selling Bud Light all night long. Also, they have wine and mixed drinks available. We have a concession stand back here, very exclusive for the nachos and cheese. This concession stand exclusively has the pizza. They also take credit cards at the front. Our merchandise booth has the t-shirts for sale. That's right back there, they're working hard. MKTs is our special sponsor for that. And tonight, for everybody that's 21 and over, we invite you to join us at our after party at Jethro's Tiki Hut in Aberdeen. You bring your ticket stub, you get in free. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'd like to bring into the cage to sing the national anthem. Please welcome Maria Sexton from Adams County, Ohio. Woo!
Yeah! Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose our stripes and bright stars through the peril of sight. All the ramparts he washed were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets crackling, the monsters stealing air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Woo, Maria Sexton, everybody! Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's event is under the authority of the Kentucky Boxing and Wrestling Commission, Inspector Tony Hopper, our ringside physician, Dr. Brock Hardin. If the fights go to distance, the judges tonight, Dave Merce, Jamie Hahn, and we have 2 referees. Whichever referee is not in the cage will be the 3rd judge. I have just been joined in the cage by the referee for our first fight tonight, Chris Kinman. And somewhere is George Conley. There he is, George Conley, right over there. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for our first fight of the evening? Introducing first, Justin Hogan.
Welcome everybody to Empire Fight Series 1. As mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the first MMA event in the Maysville area. And we have a local, Justin Hogan, fighting out of the Kraken Fight Team, Iron Fist Gym, really the only fight team local to the Maysville area. So he's got a lot riding on this. It's his first fight. It's his first amateur fight at that. He's got friends, he's got family here. That will be a recurring theme of this event. He is cornered by Brandon McLeese of the Kraken Fight Team. Fantastic catch wrestling coach. And of course, we saw some locals even with Rick Toms, the legendary Rick Toms, making the trip out here. And Chris Kingman in the cage to referee the event. Justin Hogan looking anxious. He's got a tall task ahead of him against the debuting Winston Queen.
And his opponent, Winston Queen.
As I was saying, despite Justin Hogan being a local, Winston Queen has a wealth of support behind him, as you can hear. If you didn't know any better, you would think that Justin Hogan was in enemy territory as things stand. Now, this is a super heavyweight fight. This is beyond a 265-pound limit, and you do not see a lot of these. The UFC doesn't even promote a super heavyweight division. So one fight, one victory puts you in the ranks among local amateur super heavyweights, because quite frankly, there aren't that many of them. Winston Queen has a vocal backing here in Maysville, Kentucky at Early Wines Racing there for him. Has a great corner, the main eventer of this show, Sean Asher. Interesting thing about Sean Asher, he actually trained with the Kraken Fight Team, which is cornering Justin Hogan. But tonight, you see them in opposite corners. Pace is going to be an important part of this fight. Super heavyweights are not known for their endurance. I look for this one personally to be heavy. I expect it to be a slugfest early on. Let's go into the cage, the legendary Rick Toms.
This is Empire Fight Series 1, live on thecast.com. Introducing first in the blue corner, he stands 5'11", weighing super heavyweight 250 pounds. Fighting out of Maysville, Kentucky, he represents Kraken Fight Team, Justin Hogan. And in the red corner, he stands 6 foot tall, fighting out of Manchester, Ohio, representing son of Siam, Winston Queen.
Shelly Ann Miller, one of our wonderful cage girls, getting us underway as Rick Toms makes those opening announcements, opening introductions rather. As mentioned, Justin Hogan goes into this fight with the backing of the Kraken Fight Team, a catch wrestling school out of the local area, but Winston Queen definitely has the fan support behind him tonight. A touch of the gloves, and we are underway at Empire Fight Series 1. Both men struggling to find their mark early. Oh, that's it! He's out! An immediate knockout for Winston Queen! Justin Hogan goes out, and Winston Queen has his first victory. That was unbelievable. We had doctors tending to Justin Hogan, and we are out to a fast and furious start at Empire Fight Series 1. We're going to take a look at the action. Both men slugging it out. A nice counter right. Queen follows up with a second counter right. And Hogan is put down. Hogan being tended to in the cage. Let's go into the cage with Rick Toms for the announcement.
All right, fight fans. 16 seconds into round number 1. The winner of this fight by knockout, Winston Queen.
Winston Queen emerges victorious in his debut. A pleased crowd, to say the least. As mentioned, those super heavyweight fights are fast and furious, hard-hitting, and an immediate KO to open up this new chapter of MMA in Maysville, Kentucky.
All right, back at the merchandise booth where we're selling our t-shirts. That's where you can enter tonight's raffle. It is a beautiful color photo of Shelly. She will autograph it to whoever wins it. It's $1 to enter, or you can get 12 chances for $10. Once again, to get entered, we'll be back at the table where we're selling our t-shirts.
How could the live crowd pass up on a deal like that? Come on. How can you say no to Joni Hughes Heflin and Gabriela Nito Hernandez? We have our next fight up, Brandon McCown, Justin Lee. Let's go into the cage with Rick Toms to introduce these fighters.
All right, don't forget about the Bud Light. Please tip our friends that are working tonight where we're having a good time. Are you ready for our next fight? back there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring out our next fighter, Brandon McCown.
Brandon McCown making his amateur debut, as is Justice Lee as well. Now this fight, much like the one that we just saw, it's so much of a proving ground fight. There are so many unanswered questions when anybody makes their debut, much less an amateur fighter. You got to wonder where they are as far as their career, as their experience. He's fighting out of Mount Vernon, Kentucky, the Tiger's Den, and he's a big middleweight. He's 6'3". Usually you'll see middleweights land at about 6 foot tall, 6'1", maybe a bigger one around 6'2", but he is a huge middleweight, getting it done, making that weight early on in his career. Taking on Justice Hungry, Justice Lee. Back into the cage to Rick Toms.
And his opponent, Justice the Punisher Bumpus.
Justice Lee, anxious to hit the cage, came trotting out to the cage. Tank topped up. Now, he's fighting out of Brooksville, Kentucky. Local, does not train with the Iron Fist Gym local team that you're going to see peppered all over the show. But a local fighter nonetheless. Some of these guys are very under the radar and are kind of going to have their coming out party tonight. Justice Lee definitely hopes to do that tonight.
This is Empire Fight Series 1 live on Decast.com, and this is an amateur fight scheduled for three 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, in the blue corner, he stands 6'2", weighing 185 pounds, fighting out of Mount Vernon, Kentucky, representing Tiger's Den, Brandon McCown. And in the red corner, he stands 5'11", weighing 185 pounds, fighting out of Madisonville, Kentucky, Justice the Punisher Bumpus.
Joni Hughes-Heflin getting us underway here. You hear Justice Lee with a pocket of fans. Like I said, a real proving ground this fight. A couple of 185-pound fights on this show. You know those two combatants have got to be keeping their eye on one another. Nice lead right jab from Justice. Gets us underway. Brandon McCown dropped early. Grabs around the back. A slam by Justice Lee. A knee to the chest. Another knee. Some big sloppy punches from McCown as he's got that reach advantage, not really using it as these punches are wild and looping. Not a lot of technique here between the two as Justice is able to drag it to the ground. It is hard to tell if McCown tried to take it, and it's it. That's it. Justice Lee puts Brandon McCown down. A hush falls over the crowd as we get our second quick finish. This one at the hands of Justin Lee, making an impression at 185 pounds. Just miles from his home at that. Referee Chris Kingman talking things over with Brandon McCown. We didn't see that reach advantage that Brandon McCown came in with, like I think 4 or 5 inches of height on the much smaller Justice Lee, and that definitely played to his disadvantage. We had a pretty aggressive strike or grappling exchange that ended in Lee slamming McCown to the ground, and McCown was never able to recover. Let's go into the cage with Rick Toms to get the official decision.
fight fans, 43 seconds into round number 1. Referee Chris Kinman stops this fight due to unanswered strikes. Your winner, Justice the Punisher Bumpus.
Justice Lee, a great sport in victory in the cage with the wonderful Gabriela Hernandez. And we are just powering through this show.
Justice the Punisher Bumpus, congratulations on your big win tonight, man. You caught him, and that was all that she wrote right there.
Yes, sir. We've been preparing for this hard. Me and my family. You know, you can't thank God. If anybody's out there struggling with, let's go! All right, then. Thank y'all. Next time, come back. Have a good night tonight.
All right, man. Congratulations, Justice Bumpus.
We mentioned Justice Lee was just excited to get out to that cage, and with good reason, it would appear. In a hurry to show up, in a hurry to leave. The man is not paid by the hour here at Empire Fight Series 1. He got in, did his job, and got out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring out our next fighter. Ricky, the Dark Dragon Moose.
Ricky Muse making his way to the cage. Interesting situation as he is cornered by the coach of the Kraken Fight Team. Isn't an official member of the Kraken Fight Team, chooses to train out on his own, but is also somewhat of a local, fighting about 30-40 minutes from his home in Muses Mills. And as is the case with so many fighters on this show, a small town show making their debut, this fighter, despite not making his amateur debut, is in front of many of his friends and family. A 6'4" combatant, he will have a bit of a reach advantage, but also fights against a man who is familiar with the Kraken Fight Team that is cornering him in Danny Hodge.
And his opponent, Danny Sledgehammer Hodge.
Danny Hodge making his way to the cage, yet another local. He actually has some familiarity training with his opposition's cornerman, making his debut, but he's trained on and off for years and years, accompanied to the cage by Scotty Parker, who has ran a series of gyms over the years. A couple of big boys going at it here at Empire Fight Series. Now Muse is looking to change his fortune, so to speak. He's on a bit of a losing skid. He's been out of action for almost a year and a half, but was supposed to fight a year ago. Making his return to the cage against the debuting Hodge. Hodge shares an embrace with Scotty Parker as he heads into the cage. Oh, and he trips getting into the cage. Fortunately, he's all right. just go into the cage with Rick Thomas.
This is Empire Fight Series 1, live on DeCast.com, and this is an amateur fight scheduled for three-minute rounds. Introducing first in the blue corner, he stands 6'4", weighing 211 pounds. Fighting out of Muses Mills, Kentucky. Representing Shasudo Jitsuru and MMA, Ricky the Dark Dragon Muse. And in the red corner, he stands 6'1", weighing 230 pounds. Fighting out of Naples, Ohio. Representing Evolution MMA, Danny Sledgehammer Hodge.
Gabriela Hernandez gets us underway. Round 1, Hodge versus Muse. I asked for some background on Muse and was simply told he's a ninja. A touch of the gloves and we are underway. Brief feeling out period with an inside leg kick from Hodge that gets us underway. Feints a high knee and an immediate slam. That could be it. Muse is covered up, but Hodge is just sledgehammering his opponent. That's it. Another quick finish here at Empire Fight Series 1. Danny Hodge has the crowd on their feet with a huge ground and pound. Muse is still on his back. Hodge comes over to check on his opponent. Danny Hodge making quick work of Ricky Muse. A long-awaited amateur debut for Danny Hodge. He's got to be thrilled with that performance. Ricky Muse, unfortunately, his streak continues. Let's take out a look at the replay of Hodge's performance. You see the feint for the high knee here, sets up, body lock, slam, right into those big, heavy right hands that finish Muse.
All right, fight fans, 27 seconds into round number 1. Referee George Conley stops this bout due to unanswered strikes. Your winner, Danny Sledgehammer Hodge. All right, Danny Hodge, you lived up to the nickname tonight, Sledgehammer.
Well, it was fun. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've got to watch Sean Asher. A lot of guys, local guys, get to do this. And, hey, this is great.
It was a good time tonight. We're going to see you back in here again then.
One more thing. I want to tell my wife happy birthday. She put up with a lot of crap so I could do this.
What's her name?
Kendra.
Kendra Hodge, stand up, happy birthday!
Danny Hodge wishing his wife a happy birthday, one of the good guys in the sport.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to take an intermission. During intermission, don't forget you get all the drinks you can handle over there. We've got our t-shirts on sale. We have our raffle that continues. You buy your chances. Back where the t-shirts are. Mark Coleman in the house, the first ever UFC heavyweight champion. We'll be back with more exciting Empire Fight Series 1.
Empire Fight Series 1 off to a fast and furious start. As we have mentioned, A lot of locals making a great first impression on some of their friends and family here. Danny Hodge, a long-awaited amateur debut, lives up to the nickname The Sledgehammer. You have Justice Lee coming in and absolutely obliterating his opponent, as did Winston Queen. A lot of quick finishes, a lot of dominating performances, and a lot of people that are looking to set themselves up for success in the future. Empire Fight Series 1 rolls on.
Here's what we have coming up, our professional bouts. Luke Shawley makes his long-awaited heavyweight professional debut. Brian McDowell makes another long-awaited pro debut at welterweight. Muhammad versus Yanez in a 145-pound bout, and Sean Asher takes on Anthony Trotter for the heavyweight championship.
All right, DJ Domino up there spinning the music for us. DJ! All right. Hey, we're going to remind everybody once again, the Bud Light booth. Todd Bud Light and Mick Ultra. We have a concession stand up there that's serving pizza exclusively. Nachos and cheese exclusively with our friends back in the back. They all have the hamburgers and all that stuff. We have MKTs in the house with the t-shirts available tonight. The official Empire Fight Series t-shirts. Mark Coleman still hanging out with us. Make sure you visit with the first ever UFC heavyweight champion. After the party, we invite you to join us in Aberdeen at Jethro's Tiki Hut. Your ticket stub will get you in free.
Rick Toms with the snack.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing our next fighter, Cody Sharon.
Cody Sharon, a traveled veteran of MMA. I mean, he has been around the block. He's fought over 20 times. And now, you may hear me say 20 times that we've heard of. Record keeping isn't the best among amateur MMA, especially when you fought as much as a guy like Cody has. And don't let his record deceive you, man. The guy is dangerous at any given point. We've seen him finish people early in the fight, late in the fight. He can go the distance. You never know when this guy might connect. He's shown an ability to finish on the feet and on the ground, taking on an opponent in Josh Leonard, who is going to have the crowd behind him, without a doubt. Josh Leonard, we'll tell you a little bit more about him in a bit, but Cody Sharon coming out without a corner even. It doesn't even look like he has a corner with him right now, which is a bold move to say the least, if that sticks. Actually, it looks like Scotty Parker is joining him. Still a bold move. Sharon takes the cage, again, a veteran of over 20 MMA fights.
And his opponent, Josh Leonard.
Josh Leonard is an interesting story. He's trained with the main eventer of the show, Sean Asher, for quite a while. He's trained as far back as a decade ago. I remember when Sean Asher was making a splash in MMA. Josh Leonard was a consistent training partner of Sean Asher's. But after 4 fights, Josh Leonard took a break. He has not fought in 7 years, but you are not going to be able to tell that looking at the physical condition that this man is in. He showed up at weigh-ins yesterday, ready to fight. He looked in incredible shape, especially for a guy who hasn't been in the cage for 7 years. And making his return, what better place to do it than here? What better place to do it than local? Empire Fight Series 1. And of course, Leonard has just an incredible team behind him. As mentioned, the main eventer, Sean Asher here, showing support to Leonard. Asher probably fights in less than an hour, and he's out here cornering his boy, Josh Leonard. Needless to say, I think this one is probably going to fit the profile of the 3 fights that you saw earlier in the night. I do not expect this one to go the distance. I do not expect this one to go past the first round, for better or for worse. But you have someone in Sharon who has remained amazingly active against the person who hasn't fought in years and years and years. But as mentioned, you can't tell looking at Leonard. The dude is an Adonis. Leonard looks ready for battle. Sharon, again, anxious is the theme of this show for at least one person in each of these fights to varying results thus far. But Leonard looks cool and composed. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape.
This is Empire Fight Series 1, live on DeCast.com. And this is an amateur fight scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first in the blue corner. He stands 5'9", fighting out of Rhineville, Kentucky. Representing Bloodline MMA with over 20 amateur fights, Cody Sharon. And in the red corner, he stands 5'11", weighing 207 pounds, fighting out of Georgetown, Ohio, with a record of 2 wins, 2 losses, Josh Leonard.
The beautiful Joni Hughes Heflin getting us underway now. These two guys look like categorically different in size, but the reach advantage is not that different. Sharon outweighs Leonard. I get the feeling that's probably not going to matter to Leonard based on the shape that he showed up in. And we are underway. A touch of the gloves. Josh Leonard makes his long-awaited return to MMA. Slips an early right hand from Sharon, stuffs a takedown, and they are right here in front of us. That's it. That's it. Sharon, it didn't look like he got cracked that hard, but Leonard is not happy with this. Leonard is not happy at all. And this one, we're going to go to replay, but Leonard is not happy about this. You can tell that Leonard thinks that Sharon wanted a way out. But I think that that right uppercut was the way out. Come on, Josh! Leonard did connect with that. Sharon wanted no more parts of Josh Leonard in that fight. And Josh Leonard knows it. He is well aware and not thrilled with it at all. An understandably frustrated Leonard, even in victory.
All right, fight fans, 16 seconds into round number 1. The winner of this bout, after George Conley stops this fight due to unanswered strikes, the winner, Josh Leonard!
Gabriela Nito Hernandez awarding Josh with his medal. Let's hear from Leonard.
All right, Josh Leonard, 16 seconds is all it took here tonight. What do you think about the Empire Fight Series tonight?
I love Empire Fight Series. I think it's great that everybody showed up tonight. It's the first one. Sounds like we're going to have another good promotion that's going to stick around here. I put everybody out here on notice right now. I'm ready now. If there's anybody else that wants to fight, whether it's 3 months from now, 4 months from now, I'm ready. You guys saw what happened here. I think that's crazy. I wish I could have put on a better show for you guys, but I'm ready, whoever wants it.
Open challenge to anybody by Josh Leonard. Congratulations.
Josh Leonard laying down the gauntlet. He, as I said about 7 times, not happy with I'm sure he's thrilled with the outcome. Probably not thrilled with the circumstances, visibly, as we saw there. But he's ready to fight again. No 7-year absence for him. Up next, we have Dylan Rink and Bruiser Martin. Bruiser Martin looked like a tank at the weigh-ins, taking on another local favorite in Dylan Rink, who has competed for quite a while. We'll give you all the details momentarily. Let's hear from Rick Toms.
All right, fight fans, let's bring out our next fighter. Introducing Bruiser Martin.
Of course, Mark Coleman in attendance for this event. We have DJ Domino and DJ Styles on the ones and twos for this show. We thank them for coming by. Of course, check out EmpireFightSeries.com for all the latest on Empire Fight Series. Now we have Bruiser Martin coming out to the cage. A couple of heavyweights in action tonight. Bruiser Martin fighting out of the Tiger's Den. Record of 2-2. Manchester, Kentucky. Stands at 5'9", so he's a compact heavyweight. I said he's built like a tank. Short, stocky heavyweight. And you know when they get into the cage, they're looking to throw down. You know they're looking to close the distance, land that big overhand, and put their opponent to sleep. But he's got a task in front of him in Dylan Rink. Martin, another Kentucky native. We see plenty of them on this show. The vast majority of this card are from the Kentucky, Ohio area, which has been booming with MMA talent over the last 10 years.
And his opponent, Dylan Rink.
Dylan Rink, a two-fight veteran in the amateur ranks. Debuted several years ago. After his debut, took quite a break, returned earlier this year. He is out of Maysville, Kentucky's Kraken fight team, a significant catch wrestling background. As you see, Brandon McLeese, Zach Stacy walking to the cage. Zach Stacy, an outstanding amateur in his own right, took David Rankin to the limit. Quite the corner for Dylan Rink to have here. You know, I hate to sound like a broken record, but the theme of this show, you got the big boys slugging it out here. Hard to imagine this one will go the distance considering the nature of amateur fights and the nature of the heavyweight division.
This is Empire Fight Series 1, live on Dacast.com. And this is an amateur fight scheduled for three-minute rounds. Introducing first in the blue corner. He stands 5'9", weighing 230 pounds. Fighting out of Manchester, Kentucky. He represents Tiger's Den, Bruiser Martin. And in the red corner, he stands 6'2", weighing 255 pounds. Fighting out of Peebles, Ohio. Representing the Kraken fight team. With a record of 2 wins and no losses, Dylan Rink.
Shelly Ann Miller getting us underway here in round 1. Heavyweight fight, Bruiser Martin, Dylan Rink, Empire Fight Series 1.
Put him in a body bag.
The cage door is locked and we are underway. A touch of the gloves. And Bruiser Martin pressuring right after the touch of the gloves, got caught with a counter right. Looks like he may already be cut. A big leg kick from Dylan Rink. Didn't set that up with anything. Doesn't look like he has any fear. And he has already opened up Bruiser Martin. And he says he can't see. That's going to be it. If he can't see, that's it. They will not let this fight continue. If he says that he can't see, that's a wrap on this. No, he called a stop to that. The ref did not call a stop to that until it was brought to his attention. That is not the way it works. The referee has to see a threat and call for a break, call for the doctor to check out that cut. Instead, it was Martin that did that. And Dylan Rink might move to 3-0 here, especially if Bruiser Martin can't see. And that would be a horrible way to end this fight. An unfortunate way to end this fight. Doctor checking on Bruiser Martin's vision in the cage. Maybe we can take a look back at the punch that caused that. Actually, we don't have it yet. And that's a wrap. Crowd not happy with that one. Not happy at all. Dylan Rink moves to 3-0. A couple of unfortunate finishes here at Empire Fight Series, back to back. The doctor and the referee call a stop to this one, but the moment that Bruiser Martin said that he couldn't see, this one was over. There was no way they were going to let that fight continue. Rick Toms is getting the official decision. I see Chris Kingman over conferring with the commission to kind of clear up what the official decision is. Not a lot of confusion to this one. That one's got to be, any commission worth their weight, it's got to call that a TKO finish.
All right, fight fans, 25 seconds into round number 1. The winner of this fight, due to a medical stoppage, Dylan Rink!
Dylan Rink picks up the win. I'm very confused by the ruling of that decision. That was stopped by a fighter, not by a referee or a doctor, as it turned out. We're going to go into the cage with Rick Toms and hear from Dylan.
Dylan Rink, 25 seconds, man. You caught him, cut him. Too deep of a cut to continue. The doctor stopped it. Now you got the rest of the night off.
Yeah, it was a good time. I was hoping to go a little bit longer than it did, but it happens. So thanks everybody for coming out. But yeah, thanks. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations once again. Dylan Rink remains undefeated, 3-0.
As mentioned, the fighter called a stop to the action there. That's not supposed to be how it works. The referee is supposed to call a stop to the action. Dylan Rink, for all that he could have done, he could have kept wailing away until the referee stopped the action. He did not, but did end up picking up the win. But I got to question the ruling of that decision. Not the victory for Rink, but the call for a medical stoppage. When the fighter himself called a stop to the action after sustaining a cut over his left eye. Empire Fight Series 1 to finish every fight thus far. It has been action-packed. All first round finishes early on. Separating the men from the boys here, and you got to believe some of these winners are going to end up matched up for Empire Fight Series 2.
All right, who's ready to see the pros fight? They are, those two right there. Thank you for that. Hey, the difference in a pro fight, in addition to the fact that they're pros, is the time limit for the round is now 5 minutes. So this will be 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, our first pro fighter of the evening, Luke Shawley.
If you don't know the name Luke Shawley, you're going to. He is an outstanding amateur fighter, making his pro debut, has been nothing short of a dominant amateur fighter. He was 5-0, fighting out of Dayton, Ohio, Gladiator Training Center, 6'4". He is a big boy. This is a great opportunity for him to make a splash in the pro ranks right out of the gate. We'll see if we can't get the tail of the tape a little bit earlier into his opponent's introduction. That way we can run through it with you. But Shawley all smiles, doesn't look concerned in the least about his opponent Cornelius Chapman. Chapman does have a bit of an experience advantage, at least as it pertains to pro fights, but is also looking for his first win, as it turns out. And Shawley looks every bit of a pro that he is as he makes his way to the cage.
And his opponent, Cornelius Shonuff Chapman.
Cornelius Chapman never had a fight on record go the distance, never had a win past the first round. So you get the feeling that if he's going to emerge victorious, he's got to strike early. And against a guy like Shawley, that is a lot easier said than done, because Shawley himself has 5 first-round finishes. And I mean, that ranges from heel hooks to finishes via punch. I mean, the guy is all over the map there. Cornelius is returned this year after 2 years off from the cage. And this is a big opportunity for him. Even though Shawley's making his debut, if Cornelius Chapman is able to emerge victorious here, it would be the biggest upset of this show by far. Came all the way from Wisconsin. 6'2", another big dude, but he ain't bigger than Luke Shawley. Let's see if we can't get you that tail of the tape for this fight. Shawley and Chapman set to do battle in our first heavyweight bout. We have 4 of them on the docket tonight. Shawley staying limber in the cage as Chapman talks things over with his team, grabs a drink of water before he heads into the cage. And if there's one thing this crowd probably isn't thirsty for right now, it's a first-round finish. But given the track record of these 2 guys, you've got to believe that another one's coming. It's hard to imagine that this one goes the distance. It's hard to imagine that this one goes to the second round. And based on the strengths of both fighters, it's hard to believe that it even goes a few minutes. Also, based on the track record of this show, finishes are just in the air tonight. First-round finishes are in the air tonight.
This is Empire Fight Series 1, live on DeCast.com, and this is a battle of the Super Heavyweight Pro Fight, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first in the blue corner, he stands 6'3", fighting out of Dayton, Ohio, representing Gladiator, with a record of 5 wins, no losses, Luke Shawley. And in the red corner, he stands 6'2", fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, representing Team Chapman MMA, Cornelius Shonuff Chapman.
Gabriel Anito Hernandez, the neatest of all ring girls, gets us underway. Our first pro fight, Shawley versus Chapman. Again, a couple of guys that when they finish their fights, they finish them early. The first Empire Fight Series pro bout is underway. We have a touch of the gloves. Shawley already stalking the opponent. Nice side kick, big head kick from the left side. We've got knees. Chapman struggling to hold on, and Shawley just throwing those knees in the clinch. He has an overhook and a bit of a plum on the other end. Nice overhook throw by Shawley. Turtled up, this one's over. Shawley with a dominant pro debut over Cornelius Chapman. Luke Shawley doing exactly what he did throughout his entire amateur career, finishing fights in the first round. We're going to get another look at that one. Lightning quick. Watch these knees. He sets up the knees, grabs the overhook over the hip, throws Chapman. Chapman went face down, and that was a wrap. Shawley was able to land heavy ground and pound. Some of those to the back of the head. Not really much that was going to happen differently regardless, but get the feeling the ref should have been in there for some of those to the back of the head. But then again,
all right, five fans, 33 seconds into round number 1. Referee George Conley stops this fight due to unanswered strikes, remaining undefeated with his 6th win, Luke Shawley.
But there was nothing Chapman was going to do, punches to the back of the head or not. Like that was a wrap for him. Luke Shawley had this one won from the opening exchange as we see him in the cage with Shelly Ann Miller. We're going to hear from him after his pro debut.
All right, Luke Shawley, now 6-0. What's next for you, man?
I'll fight anyone. I'm just looking for an opponent. Anyone that steps up, I'm ready to go. Got to say thanks to my wife, Ashley over there, for putting up with me all the time. It means the world to me. And thank you, Gladiator, for making this stuff happen for me.
Well, we thank you for coming out here and being a part of the Empire Fight Series. Thanks so much. Congratulations on win number 6.
Empire Fight Series 1 rolls on here at Early Wines Racing, Maysville, Kentucky. Some more dominating first round finishes. You get the feeling that some of these dominant performances are going to be matched up the next go around. We also had some unfortunate finishes. Josh Leonard not happy with his opponent and how things ended there. We saw Dylan Rink end a fight via medical stoppage, perhaps should have been a TKO. But the big fight, Luke Shawley with a major pro debut, dominant against a more experienced opponent, and he picks up right where he left off on the amateur ranks. That's dominating people early in the first round. His corner tells me that was actually his longest fight, if you believe it. This guy has finished fights with punches, with heel hooks, and his pro debut was his longest, and it barely went a minute long. Action-packed here at Empire Fight Series 1 as we continue.
Here's what we have on the docket. Brian McDowell making his pro debut against Scott Johnson at welterweight. We have Muhammad and Yanez doing battle at featherweight. And then for the title, Sean Asher, Anthony Trotter, our main event.
Hey, DJ Domino, please cut the music. Very excited that we have a winner here tonight. Where's table 7 at? Oh, wow, congratulations goes out to an Amy Rhodes. You won. Very excited and proud of you. Stand up, Amy. Congratulations. And now, what would be your prize? What could it be?
Amy Rhodes, will you marry me?
It's a marriage proposal, everybody. She said yes! Congratulations!
An engagement at Empire Fight Series 1. Congratulations to the soon-to-be wedded couple. Only at Empire Fight Series 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Scott Johnston.
Scott Johnston walking into enemy territory. He's a 4-2 amateur that we know of. He's fought at welterweight and lightweight. I'm told he's based out of Florida. Well, the thing that you got to take into mind here, he is not afraid to go the distance. Does so often, as does his opponent McDowell. And that is not something we've seen. I won't even say we've seen not a lot of tonight. We haven't seen anything resembling that tonight. Almost every fight has ended in under a minute and a half. These two guys are built to go the distance. They are professional fighters. You know, a lot of times the difference between amateur and pro, these commissions, these referees, they want to get these amateurs out of here as soon as they hit the mat. They got work to go to do Monday. Many of these pros are setting themselves up for a long-term career. Scott Johnson and Brian McDowell are no different, both making their pro debuts. McDowell's long awaited. McDowell will have a bit of a size advantage, as we will see later in the tail of the tape. But Johnston jumped at the chance to take this fight after Brian McDowell's original opponent backed out. Quite frankly, ran away from the fight. Scott Johnston in no mood to run away from any kind of a fight. And he certainly will bring one to Brian McDowell tonight, who will, based on previous experience, McDowell will reciprocate that love. Staff members wiping away the excess Vaseline from around Johnston's face. Just to help the punches glide off of the face a little bit more. If it can't go anywhere else on the body, get the old cup check.
And his opponent, Brian Iceman McDowell.
Brian McDowell, a local, has really spearheaded MMA in this region. By far the most active fighter ever from this Mason County, Maysville region. He's actually from across the river. It has over 17 amateur fights, and this is his first fight in over 3 years. The commission let him go pro, long overdue at that, and he is in the best mindset he has been in years. I personally trained with this guy from the time he was 14, 15 years old, always ultra competitive, was often defeating adults in grappling competitions. I mean, there are stories of him walking up to adults in adult divisions when he was 14 years old, shaking their hands, saying I'm an adult, and choking them out. McDowell, 24 years old. Scott Johnston, much older, 33. McDowell, 6'3", while Johnson, 5'11". That plays into the reach advantage. Both men weighed in on the dot at 170 pounds. We're gonna go into the cage with Rick Toms. Johnston versus McDowell. Momentarily, as the Kraken Fight team helps McDowell get ready to go into the cage. As mentioned, McDowell has a decorated amateur career, several championships to his credit. Fought in the Northern Kentucky area often, would sometimes branch out beyond that. We have Johnston staying limber, has a more than apt corner by his side. This has been a long time coming for McDowell. He's had a lot of hurdles thrown in his way before making his pro debut, had some extended absences, and this is a guy who fought 9 times in his first year of competing. Fought, I think, 16 times in his first 20 months or so. So he used to be such an active fighter, and to go on a break like that, you got to wonder how that affects his performance, how that affects his competitive spirit, and we're about to find out.
This is Empire Fight Series 1, live on thecast.com. And this is a pro fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing in the blue corner, he stands 6 foot tall, weighing 170 pounds. Fighting out of Miami, Florida. Representing MMA Champions Academy, Scott Johnston. And in the red corner, he stands 6'3", weighing 170 pounds. Fighting out of Maysville, Kentucky. Representing the Kraken Fight Team and Iron Fist Gym, Brian Iceman McDowell.
Johnston making the trek up from Florida, jumped at the opportunity to fight McDowell. Both men making their pro debuts, and Johnston looks, again, anxious, to say the least. Already has a good sweat going early on, which you need when you fight a guy like McDowell with the grappling and catch wrestling background that he brings as a member, the most decorated member of the Kraken Fight team by far. McDowell slips right under that wild looping punch of Johnston, stalking his opponent, keeping him at range. McDowell looked like he caught an overhand, ate a knee to the body, grabs the clinch, one over. McDowell throws a knee of his own. Looks like he's looking for a body lock. That was an interesting way to get McDowell up against the cage, almost like a hybrid switch and a knee. McDowell looking to swim under the arm to grab a body lock. Does so, pushes Johnston up against the cage. But Johnston obviously not lacking in strength, and he eats a knee to the body. Referee separates it, but that looked clean. And McDowell's knees are vicious. Johnston looking to create separation any way that he can. As I mentioned, Johnston already had a pretty good sweat going as he came out here, and that's going to benefit him in these exchanges. He'll be able to slip out a little bit better. They're right here in front of us at the commentary booth. McDowell doing a good job holding the body lock without grabbing under the cage, which can sometimes be a habit. And Johnston able to get an over-under, but eats a knee from McDowell on his way into that. McDowell turns the tide again, and it seems it's really a battle between these two to get the over-under, to get the body lock, throw a knee as they switch up against the cage. By far the most evenly matched fight we've had on this show thus far. McDowell blocks the knee to the head. That one was close. If that one would have connected, that could have been bad. And McDowell gets slammed, but immediately transitions into the triangle. McDowell grabs the leg. It's locked in. If he can get the arm across, that could be, McDowell grabs the mount. Shades of his early amateur fights. He's transitioning over into the armbar, now back into the triangle. McDowell needs to get the arm across. Johnston is trying to punch his way out. Now into a triangle armbar. This is McDowell's territory. He's able to throw the elbows here as he is a pro. Those elbows in this position can be damaging. McDowell pulling down on the head, trying to apply the pressure. McDowell's leg is not folded all the way through. He needs to lock that on just a little bit tighter, but he turns around, hooks the leg. This is applied tight. This is right where McDowell wants to be. It looks like he's lost the triangle a bit, switching to the armbar. Johnston spins out. Johnston on top now, and Johnston raining down punches. Now Johnston in the guard of McDowell. McDowell had a ton of submission opportunities there, couldn't get it done. He swims the legs up, trying to go back to that triangle. He looks determined to win this fight via triangle or triangle armbar. Johnston looks to pass, tries to sit back. I don't think he's going to land a leg lock on a catch wrestling guy like McDowell. That would be a shock here. That would be a huge upset. I don't know if you want to be playing footsie with Brian McDowell. That sounds like a dangerous proposition. McDowell is known for his leg locks, and he applies a heel hook. McDowell gives it up. Looks like he's going to take top control here. Johnston has him, doesn't have the guard closed. Looks like he's working for a triangle of his own, doesn't have it anywhere close. This looks to be more of a stalling position. Moves to mission control. McDowell trying to keep his weight down on Johnston as Johnston tightened that guard. Johnston throws his legs up. McDowell content to stay in that guard and rain down punches, and he takes side. Now we're in a north-south position. A variety of options that McDowell could apply here. Looks like he could be setting up a Darce but Johnson's head's out. McDowell has to throw a few punches, move back to that guard. Johnson trying to retain guard throughout this whole exchange. McDowell moves over into half guard rather. Apologies. We have 10 seconds left in this round. It looks like we're going to see the second round in Empire Fight Series history.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the second round.
We're going to take a look at the action in between rounds. You got to believe that's a McDowell round. He had the control in most of the grappling exchanges. Watch this throw that McDowell is able to recover from immediately and applies that triangle. He made the best of what could have been a bad situation. You saw him looking like he was going to hook the leg there. When you do that, that's to help prevent the opponent from kicking out, rolling up. McDowell, nothing short of an expert at transitioning in and out of submissions. And to Johnston's credit, man, if he wanted the easy way out, he could have taken the easy way out a number of times, but that is not Scott Johnston. Scott Johnston fought out of all of those, had some great transitions in and out of those submissions, and was able to survive. As we see round 2, McDowell and Johnston here at Empire Fight Series 1.
All right, if you're ready to see a round 2, make some noise!
A touch of the gloves and round 2 is underway. Brian McDowell pressuring early with a nice body kick. More to set the range. He came in with an outside leg kick to close the distance. Got Johnson's guard up high and now is going for a double leg. Lands it. Johnson tried to hold on there, which could have been bad news. Now McDowell in half guard, reaches around, grabs the head, throwing some strikes to loosen up Johnston as he tries to apply it. It is kind of hard to grab this submission here, especially when you're working against the cage. But if McDowell can clear that leg and step over the left leg of Johnson, he'll be in a lot better shape. McDowell now goes back to, it's not a full guard, more of a half guard as Johnson looks to sweep. This could be a rough position for McDowell up against the cage. He's grabbing the head for a guillotine, and he's got it in. It's in, but it doesn't look like it's going to finish Johnston from this position as McDowell is stuck in that half guard, and it does! Brian McDowell, the hometown boy, wins his professional debut. What do I know? Brian McDowell emerges victorious. 3 years gone. And he is back with a vengeance in front of his hometown crowd. A pro debut, 10 years in the making. This guy's trained since he was 14 years old here in Maysville, Kentucky, and he just got it done in true crowd-pleasing fashion. Easily the fight of the night thus far as well.
All right, fight fans, 1 minute and 11 seconds into round number 2. Referee Chris Kimmons stops this fight when he sees the tap out to the guillotine choke. Your winner, Brian Iceman McDowell!
Brian McDowell, a project of Kraken Fight Team in Maysville, Kentucky. Hey, if you want to get learned in MMA, check out that Iron Fist gym. Tons of successful MMA products have come from that gym.
Brian Iceman McDowell, congratulations on your big win here tonight at Empire Fight Series.
Brian bringing his beautiful daughter into the cage with him. A huge moment for him. The man has overcome so much.
Brian, who is this?
This is my baby girl, Stevie.
Stevie! How are you? 3 years old. Just turned 3. Happy birthday.
Real quick, man, I want to thank everyone for coming out. I really appreciate it. Props to my opponent, man. He flew all the way up here from Miami. So props out to him. My coaches, Brandon McLeish, Jay Grooms. My corners, Zach, Eric, Dylan Cornett from Fisticuffs, Seth Bavard for keeping the Iron Fist Gym open, and Aaron Bavard for opening up Iron Fist and giving this opportunity. You know, it's the first event in Maysville. I think it went well. I think it went pretty well. Thank you all. I appreciate everything.
Congratulations on your big win, Stevie. We'll see you around.
Brian McDowell paying homage to the late Aaron Bavard, who opened Iron Fist Gym, which really birthed MMA in the Maysville area. Up next, another professional fight, Muhammad versus Yanez. Tis the season for spooktaculars, and we have I'll say a questionable musical decision in today's landscape, but hey, nonetheless, our next pro fight up, Jamal Muhammad, Raymond Yanez. Raymond Yanez,
all right, we want to remind everybody that everybody that's 21 and over is invited to the after party at Jethro's Tiki Hut in Aberdeen. If you show your ticket stub, you get in free. Once again, the after party is at Jethro's Tiki Hut in Aberdeen. We invite you to join us out there. Last call on our raffle, right? We will pull the winning ticket out after this fight, is that right? But can people still get entered? Can they come up here and get entered, or is it too late? They still got the tickets back there? Oh, I thought she just brought them up. Okay, you can pick up your ticket and bring it up here. This is last call to get entered in the raffle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Raymond the Reaper Yanez.
Raymond the Reaper Yanez, a 5-14 pro. As I mentioned, experience can be the key here. He has the ability to finish, but only 2 pro fights have went the distance. And I mean, he is a bit of a journeyman, but he didn't waste any time going pro. He went pro, I think, after 2 or 3 fights. Figured if he was gonna fight, he was gonna get paid to do it. And he's done that over the course of the last 19 fights. He stands at 5'5", fights out of Sunbury, Ohio. As mentioned, just a wealth of these fighters come from the Ohio and Kentucky area, with Yanez emerging from Top Dog MMA, hoping to establish himself as a top dog in this 145-pound division. Among the pro fights, we have 175 pounds, 145 pounds, and a couple of heavyweight fights. So, I mean, it's wide open at 145 and 170. We saw Brian McDowell emerge victorious, but now Raymond Yanez and Jamal Muhammad looking to make their impression, because everybody else in the pro ranks here is going to be playing catch-up at Empire Fight Series with these guys. These 2 guys will have already made their impressions and made themselves felt, made their impacts felt, as they look to become champions down the line here in Empire Fight Series. And this is the type of opportunity that a guy like Raymond Yanez needs. That record, I mean, it does stand out. And when you have a record like that, you want to step in, you want to derail a guy like Jamal Muhammad, who, despite the experience edge, certainly looks a lot better on paper. But you know, they fight fights in the cage and not on paper. And Yanez looking to take it from paper to the cage to the gold in this 145-pound pro fight. Could put him in contention.
And his opponent, Jamal Muhammad.
Jamal Muhammad wants nothing to do with Raymond Yanez's Cinderella story. He is not going to let Raymond Yanez use him and his career as an opportunity to right the ship or get himself into contention for a 145-pound title. 3-2 pro, 30 years old, fights out of Lexington 4 seasons, but he was 8-0 as an amateur. He was very successful in the early going as a pro too. And he's got to right the ship as well. He found all that success early on, and it slowed down a little bit. He came in with a lot of hype after his amateur career. He's based out of 4 Seasons MMA, as I mentioned, but also Lexington Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Made the short trip, about an hour up the road from Lexington, Kentucky. Stands at 5'6" for this 145-pound bout. But we're going to get a look at the tail of the tape momentarily for this pro bout. And Muhammad has several of the crowd at their feet. It's clear that he has a traveling audience. Muhammad sprinting across the cage.
This is Empire Fight Series 1, live on TheCast.com. And this is a pro fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first in the blue corner. He stands 5'5", weighing 145 pounds. Fighting out of Marion, Ohio, representing Top Dog MMA with over 20 pro fights. Raymond the Reaper Yanez. And in the red corner, he stands 5'6", weighing 145 pounds. Fighting out of Lexington, Kentucky, represent 4 Seasons and LTJ. With a record of 3 wins, 2 losses, Jamal Muhammad.
Jamal Muhammad out of 4 Seasons MMA, as mentioned, which was really one of the first high-profile gyms in Kentucky due to the exposure of Junie Browning on The Ultimate Fighter over a decade ago. But they are not defined by Junie Browning, to say the least. And a guy like Muhammad is certainly ready to prove that. 145-pound pro fight, the first in Empire Fight Series history in that featherweight division, is now underway. A big kick from Muhammad. And Muhammad surprisingly circling towards the power of his opponent Yanez, now circling away from it towards that jab hand, just switches it up back and forth, keeping it really unpredictable. As Yanez instead kind of moves forward, really patient with Muhammad. I would not be surprised to see Yanez try an inside leg kick to Muhammad's left leg, or right leg rather, if he keeps circling towards that power, but Muhammad keeps him at bay with a spinning back kick to the body. And Muhammad does not seem concerned with any of Yanez's attacks as he goes to the outside leg kick to the lead leg of Yanez. Throws a knee upon entry to the clinch, grabs an overhook up against the cage. A nice little knee in there, but Muhammad drags him down with a double leg. Laces both legs, and he is ready to do some damage. There is not a lot for Yanez here. Yanez is up against the cage. He can't really shrimp out. He's covering up. The cage is blocking him from making any real movement. And Muhammad is content to rain down punches. Now, you're more likely to see punches like this fly in pro fights than the amateur fights that you saw earlier. As these are professional fights, it looked like Yanez worked for, at least teased the double wrist lock there, but he was in no position to grab it. He's just trying to gain any semblance of like guard or any type of bottom control that he can get to put himself in a more advantageous position. He is in nowhere near one right now. Looks like Muhammad's setting up an anaconda or a darce. Yanez doing a good job blocking that, but eats a lot of elbows in doing so. Muhammad in a prime position to really land elbows. He can see everywhere that Yanez is blocking. Yanez is now turtled up. A knee, quite frankly, right to the ass. Now that choke it looks applied. Hard to tell from our vantage point here. But no weight or pressure. Yanez working to get back up to his feet. A good cradle held by Muhammad up against the cage. And a knee thrown. Yanez slugging it out, throwing knees, throwing haymakers, anything he can do to create separation, and it works. Muhammad went for a spinning back fist, thought better of it after he felt some of those strikes, but Muhammad still looks very composed. I mean, he's been in control for the duration of this fight. Just under 2 minutes to go in this round. Yanez throws a head kick that missed its mark. Didn't look like it was really intended to hit its mark. And a nice axe kick attempt from Muhammad. Yanez throwing that jab out there. Didn't look like it had any real ill intent. Maybe just to find his range or just throw something out there. Show Muhammad what he's got in the tool shed. Or the toolbox, rather. Muhammad's still circling, changing it up between circling to his left, circling to his right. Does that and sets up that spinning back kick very efficiently by doing that. Because when you see him take that step, you don't know if he's walking his way to the outside, walking his way to the inside, or setting up that spinning back kick. He's disguising it very well. He's thrown some body kicks, some leg kicks, even an axe kick as well. Not sure what he was trying to accomplish with that entry, but wasn't able to gain it. So we are back at just outside of striking range. A beautiful spinning wheel kick attempt as Muhammad is obviously well learned and has some educated feet as we see him land the head kick, a lead head kick, almost on cue. Muhammad very good at switching his stances, goes for another spin kick, cannot connect. I mean, he is really emptying the toolbox and showing Yanez, hey man, I've got all these weapons and I will use them. You just don't know how effective they're going to be. Another spinning attempt. Muhammad grabs the head, but Yanez is just holding on to the end of the round at this point. Clearly a first round for Muhammad. We will go back and take a look at some of the action. We see the knee. Muhammad just shakes it off, able to drag Yanez down with that double leg. But we also see the wheel kick attempt. Now we saw spinning back kicks, we saw leg kicks, we saw head kicks, we saw tornado kicks, we saw a little bit of everything out of Muhammad. Like he was not holding anything back. He was emptying the move set right there. He was showing everything that he had in the repertoire. I assume everything in the repertoire. I don't want to speak for the man. But my God, but hey, to be fair, we saw a fight just weeks ago in the UFC where a man emptied his gas tank throwing spinning kicks, tornado kicks, wheel kicks. Although, to be fair, Mikael Pereira was also doing handspring elbows and backflips and things of that nature. Muhammad not exactly getting that cute, but it's clear that the man wants a flashy knockout. He wants to make an impression for the people that traveled to watch him fight. And at least thus far, it hasn't bitten him in the ass. He's emerged with one round up over Yanez, who is a much more experienced opponent. So it's hard to imagine that Muhammad would slow anything down based on how the first round unfolded for him. Cage door closed. Round two is underway. Touch of the gloves, and we are getting started. Again, story of the fight. Muhammad, now he eats a bunch of punches going in, but Muhammad, now it's uncharacteristic to see you circle towards a person's power hand. The reason for that is a lot of times when you circle towards that power hand, it makes it a lot easier for your opponent to throw an overhand, to throw a hook, to throw anything like that and connect. I mean, it limits your visibility, it limits a lot of things, but Muhammad just is not worried about it. And based on the skill set that we saw him unveil in that first round, it's not difficult to see why. I mean, he's full of confidence. I mean, he's even throwing leg kicks without setting them up. So, I mean, he's really not concerned about what's coming his way. He's very clearly just focused on his own offense and unloading that. Sets up another nice outside leg kick to the lead leg of Yanez. The pace slowed down big time until Muhammad throws a series of kicks, but Yanez saw that one coming, was able to slide in, grab a single leg takedown, but Muhammad able to grab full guard, closes that guard, and has an arm wrapped up at that. Now, you don't see a ton of closed guard at the level of professional MMA these days, and now that guard isn't closed. It looks like Muhammad is setting up a sweep or setting up something here, because he had, well, now it doesn't look as much. It looked like maybe he could have perhaps even butterflied legs. Now we've got the sweep. Beautiful sweep by Muhammad. That was magnificent. Has a stockade set up of sorts. Doesn't have the other arm stockaded quite as well to where he can get into maybe a crucifix position, so to speak. But Yanez is actually kind of inhibiting that leverage himself. Now he grabs a single leg, and he is in a much better spot, he being Yanez. Pronouns, pal. And if you're Yanez, this is the best place you've been in the fight. This is your strongest position. But still, it looks like Muhammad is going to have no problem sweeping him here. Muhammad is working to advance his position, working to maybe throw Yanez over. No, throw those elbows instead. I mean, Yanez is completely stifled here. There's not a lot he's able to do without opening himself up for a checkmate from Muhammad. Muhammad grabs around, looks like he might be grabbing a variation of a double wrist lock, or at least threatening it. He's also throwing some heel kicks to the thigh of Yanez. Some really exceptional groundwork from Muhammad here. And Yanez hanging in there with him. And Muhammad wants to clear this arm. That's what he's working to do. Almost did it, but Yanez was able to get his arm up and get himself out of a threat for a Kimura or a double wrist lock. Now Muhammad has a triangle applied. He can clear the arm, pull down on the head. Looks like it's there. Could be in. Muhammad throwing some nasty elbows. It's going to be hard for Yanez to take too many of these, especially, that's it, that's a wrap. Muhammad getting a major victory. Big backflip. Would you expect anything less out of this guy? And he raises the roof? I can't advocate that. I can't advocate raising the roof in 2019. No way. Not with all that flashy offense. He goes to raise the roof. You got to teach him some breakdancing. We'll show you highlights after the official announcement from Rick Toms. What an outstanding performance from Muhammad in this fight. He moves on to 4-2. You gotta believe he'd be a welcome face back here at Empire Fight Series. And we talked about Yanez looking for that Cinderella story, not to be. Instead, Muhammad solidifies himself here in Empire Fight Series. Let's go hear from Rick Toms in the cage.
All right, fight fans, 3 minutes and 39 seconds into round number 2. Referee Chris Kinman stops the fight when he sees the tap out to the triangle choke. Your winner, Jamal Muhammad.
Jamal Muhammad being awarded a medal by the beautiful Joni Hughes Heflin. Also a member of the Kraken fight team who we've seen repeatedly here tonight.
Jamal, My friend Jamal's my friend, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud to say that. Congratulations on a great win here tonight on the debut of Empire Fight Series.
What's up, Dover, Kentucky? All right, so the whole time I said that I was going to steal the show. It was real tough to do all these first round finishes, but hopefully you guys enjoyed my performance. Real quick, you guys are new to this thing, so can you guys hear me? All right, you guys are new to this thing, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over a Kentucky tradition after a big victory. It's called raising the roof. Okay, you take your hand up and down like this. So on the count of 3, I want to see everybody in here raise the roof. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah! There we go.
I cannot believe you got the crowd to do that.
I'm very honored to be part of this first Empire Fight Series card. It's really a big honor to be a part of something big here in this area. They have a big main event with Sean Asher and Anthony Trotter still up next. I'm super excited about that fight. And they made him one of those fancy new belts. I say let's come back to Dover, and maybe they can make one of those belts for me, a pro featherweight belt or a pro bantamweight belt. You can call it the Jamal Muhammad belt if you guys want to. Hey, any of those will do. Real quick, if I can just thank my sponsors, Vast Design and Construction, George, Kentucky Natural CBD with Jordan, I have Empire Auto Sales, Lifestyle Real Estate with Adnan Yosef, and Advantage Osteoporotic Physical Therapy. Once again, thank you everybody, appreciate it.
Couldn't understand a word he said, but I think he invited us all over to his house tomorrow for a cookout. So Jamal, we'll see you then. Real quick, we want to put over the Tiki Hut in Aberdeen, the after party. Also, we want to find out who won the raffle. So where are the raffle tickets at? Did you bring the photo up here? Is it with you?
I can't advocate.
Okay, if you have, if you pull out your number, just come up and claim your prize. Shelly, come on up here and pull out that winning ticket.
Look at our wonderful ring girls, Shelly Ann Miller, Joni Hughes Heflin, and Gabriela Hernandez. We thank them for helping us out here tonight.
All right, get your red ticket out if you entered the raffle. One 969-228. Come down to cage side and collect your prize if you have that ticket. One 969-228. Come on down to the cage side and collect your prize. There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, history will be made on this next fight. We will crown our first ever Empire Fight Series heavyweight champion. This fight will be 5-minute rounds. And now, our first contestant in this battle to crown the first ever Empire Fight Series heavyweight champion, Anthony Trotter.
Anthony Trotter with a huge opportunity in so many different ways here at Empire Fight Series 1. This guy's been a pro for over 13 years. He started his MMA career with a 3-fight winning streak. He's done some boxing as well. And despite being 5 years younger than his opponent, he's been involved with MMA for a lot longer. I know the record may deceive you as far as experience goes, but this guy has been training in MMA for over a dozen years. Since really the Ultimate Fighter 1 launch, that guy's been involved in MMA. And not much shorter of a time has he been involved in pro MMA. He's fought all over the place. and he has a very tall task ahead of him against Shawn Asher, because this arena will come unglued in Maysville, Kentucky when Shawn Asher walks through the curtain. But Anthony Trotter with the same opportunity that Asher has to become the first champion at Empire Fight Series.
And his opponent, Shawn the Bully Asher.
Easily the biggest reaction of the night for Shawn Asher, a Bellator veteran, credited, and perhaps appropriately so, with helping spearhead MMA in this area, really helping cultivate MMA in this area, both from Maysville and across the river, up to at Vision. He's trained with some of the greats in the sport. The man has been all over the place, but he's been out of the cage for a while. His first fight in 3 years, and at 40 years old, he's ready to get back in the cage. He was walking around weigh-ins yesterday saying, "Don't let anybody near my belt." He already sees it as his. He's ready to take it, and this crowd seems ready for him to take it as well. This guy was dangerously close to being in the UFC. Fought Misha Serkinov for a spot there, but really should have had a spot on the Ultimate Fighter. This man beat Doug Sparks ahead of Doug Sparks' MMA or tough run. Shawn Asher passed over. That did not make him happy. He's looking to accomplish a lot of things here. He's looking to realize a lot of things here. He's always had a traveling audience. He's always had traveling fans. One of the best, quite frankly, in the country at getting fans to travel. And now they don't have to travel. He's so close to home, just 20-25 minutes from his front door. And this is a guy who got a really late start in MMA. I mean, he didn't start fighting until he was near 30. And he had a full athletic career prior to that. He played basketball. Collegiately and as a pro. Let's take a look at this tail of the tape. Shawn Asher, 5 years older than Trotter, 3 inches shorter than Trotter. They both weighed in near the same, but Trotter has a reach advantage. It's going to be interesting to see if Trotter can utilize that advantage, because we know the Shawn Asher game. It's get in close, slam you, and pound you unconscious. And you better believe with the amount of people that are here, Shawn Asher is looking to break the streak of pro fights that have went past 1 round. He's looking to get in, get out, get his title, get his picture taken, cut his promo, and hear the cheers. And there are plenty of them here tonight at Empire Fight Series 1.
This is Empire Fight Series live on thecast.com. This is your main event, and it is for the Empire Fight Series Heavyweight Championship, scheduled for 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, in the blue corner, he stands 6'3", fighting out of Whitesburg, Kentucky. Representing the Dungeon, Anthony Trotter. And in the red corner, he stands 6 foot tall, fighting out of Decatur, Ohio. Representing Son of Siam, with a record of 15-3-1. Shawn the Bully Asher!
Easily reaction of the night there for Shawn Asher. We thank Shelly Ann Miller and Gabriela Hernandez, as well as Joni Hughes Heflin, who you didn't see there, for all of their help getting things underway tonight. Shawn Asher, while he has trained with the Kraken Fight team locally, he's been all over the place. Vision MMA, as we get underway. Main event, championship fight, Trotter versus Asher for the beautiful heavyweight championship. Outside leg kick for Shawn Asher. He closes that distance early. Trotter looking to stuff it. It ain't happening. Signature Shawn Asher slam. You hear the roar of the crowd. They know what's going on. Asher moves over into half guard. He's already trying to land some strikes there. Trotter doing his best to prevent that separation, trying to close the distance to prevent those strikes. Those notorious hams that Shawn Asher has attached to his wrists that knock people out. And again, not a lot of room for Trotter to create that, not a lot of room for Asher to create that separation, but he does it anyway. He does have the benefit of the cage. Trotter can't really shrimp out here. There's a little bit of space, maybe to Trotter's left, but then he's got the behemoth Asher there, who is just unbelievable at distributing his weight. Unbelievable at staying heavy on top of an opponent. And even though he hasn't fought in 3 years, it looks like it's just riding a bike for Shawn Asher. There's that separation. He has his head across the arm. He might be looking, it doesn't look like he's looking for an arm triangle. Maybe now he could pin the bicep against the ear, although there's not a lot of weight or room for him to step over. And now there's no threat of that at all. He's going to be content to throw these strikes from the top. That is the Shawn Asher game. A more than able submission threat as well, but being up against that cage really restricts that. See Trotter going around the outside of the head. Don't know what good that's going to do him, because that, as we saw, left his ankle wide open and got him put on his back again. Elbows are legal at the pro ranks, and Asher using his elbow to post up against the face of Trotter. Just making life miserable for Trotter. The arm is isolated, applied, double wrist lock. He's got a shark fin the arm, rotate the shoulder, and it's hard to see from here where Trotter's arm is, how much danger he's in. Now we see it. Trotter has fought off more than one of these in his career, doing a really good job. As I mentioned, the shark fin, Trotter wants to keep his arm as straight as possible here to avoid the double wrist lock. It's an attack on the shoulder. Asher wants to get Trotter's wrist behind his back, does so, it's almost there. The cage is kind of preventing a little bit of this, but it opens up the body of Trotter. And now Trotter manages to get out of that double wrist lock attempt. Very impressive. Again, what has helped Asher so much, the cage being where it was and having his opponent up against the cage, able to rain down all those strikes, also prevented him from applying that submission. But he's in no trouble. He is perfectly content to sit here on top and make life hell for Trotter. Forearms and elbows landing for Asher, and you don't need a ton of distance to rough your opponent up with those. Nasty elbows to the body. Underutilized in MMA, not so much from Shawn Asher. He's seeing every opening, taking it, and landing strikes where they are, whether it be punches, forearms, elbows. Trotter's still going around the outside of the head there. And that's left his body open, and it's come back to haunt him a few times in this fight. Trotter has still not landed anything significantly, and he is eating strikes from the top. Asher doing a good job, like switching up speeds and strength on those strikes. Like, it's hard for Trotter to really know what's coming, but Trotter will survive this first round. And it's hard to believe that would be anything.
All right, that concludes round number one. The Empire Fight Series Heavyweight Championship on the line.
Again, we have Former UFC heavyweight champion Mark Coleman watching on as Empire Fight Series is crowning its first heavyweight champion. Sean Asher versus Anthony Trotter. Let's take a look at some of the highlights so far in round one. Asher,
it's Joni!
Anybody that's trained with Asher
and
will tell
Gabriella!
he's taking the double leg, whether you want him to or not. Moves over into half guard. And there's where he's throwing up those varying strikes, forearms, elbows, punches. As we see Gabriela Hernandez helping us get started for round two. Joni Hughes.
We need someone to help put the cage back together over on the far side. If you can come down the cage side and help out, we'd appreciate it.
60 seconds in between rounds for these professional fighters. Amateur fighters get 90 seconds. You see Chris Kingman, the referee, yelling at the corners to get out.
Oh, it's all on the line. The championship.
An area around the cage before this starts, and they have to do that before the round starts to ensure that this bout can continue. So these guys, a couple of heavyweights, I mean, as we've mentioned multiple times.
If you're ready for round two, make some noise!
This is on pace to be one of the longest fights of the show, and they got an extra breather there as a result. Asher slips a big looping punch from Trotter. If that connected, that could have been trouble. Trotter stuffing the takedown. Asher working for the body lock. Gets the underhooks, drops down, already deep, but Trotter trying to make him pay with punches. And Trotter ends up on his back again as Asher drags his opponent down to the mat. Crowd just unanimously behind Asher, it would seem. Asher in a real good spot, back where he was for the duration of round one, which looked to be a 10-8 round, right back there. And it's hard to believe that Trotter is going to see himself improve from this position, but he is trying to walk up the cage. Trotter trying to gain any bit of leverage that he can from that cage, but he is just eating strike after strike after strike. And this is going to be it. Asher just raining down elbows, and that's it. Sean Asher has done it. Sean Asher, back in the cage after 3 years, becomes the first Empire Fight Series heavyweight champion in front of his friends, in front of his family, in front of his fight team, in front of people he's trained with, he's trained. It could not be a better story for Sean Asher, a former pro basketball player, police officer turned MMA fighter, returns to the cage and becomes the first Empire Fight Series heavyweight champion. And this crowd came unglued for Sean Asher. Mark Coleman shouting some support out to Sean Asher. Not a bad guy to get the endorsement from when it comes to ground and pound. Mark the Hammer Coleman making the trip down to see Empire Fight Series and see Asher crowned the first champion. A fantastic end to Empire Fight Series, but we're going to hear from Sean Asher after his big win.
All right, fight fans, 1 minute, 15 seconds into round number two. Referee Chris Kingman stops this fight due to the unanswered strikes. Your winner, and the new Empire Fight Series heavyweight champion, Sean the Bully Asher.
Good luck fitting that medal around his neck, but the belt looks like it fits perfectly. Sean Asher with what has to be a career highlight for him. His son in the cage with him. Getting photos taken with the beautiful Gabriella, Shelly, and Joni.
I love it. You're the MVP. Let's go.
Let's hear from Sean Asher after he gets his photo ops done.
I didn't work with you at all, did I?
I know you got some sponsors to say shout-outs to.
Yeah, actually, I want to say sorry to some of my sponsors. My banner got screwed up in the mail, and I'm very sorry. I know you guys are out here. Pro Tent, Scotty Kurt, my bad, big dog. All my sponsors, I forget you. Austin Theus, I mean everybody. Lisa Rothwell, thank you guys. I'm sorry. Sorry it took me so long. I guess I'm on a little suspension now, so I might as well make it worth it. Everybody hit Jethro's after this, and let's fucking party!
All right, we'll see you after party in Aberdeen. It was Jethro's Tiki Bar, I think it was called. We thank you so much for being a part of the first ever Empire Fight Series. Check us out on social media to find out when Empire Fight Series 2 takes place. Thank you. Be careful going home.
We're going to take a look at some replays from the first ever heavyweight championship fight in Empire Fight Series history. Sean Asher emerging victorious. This is the Sean Asher game. Get in, deep on the double, took Anthony Trotter completely off balance, then moves into side control. After this, you had Mark the Hammer Coleman, of all people, giving his endorsement, giving his props to Sean Asher for this beautiful ground and pound. And that is his game. Empire Fight Series heavyweight champion, Sean Asher. That's it for Empire Fight Series 1, Maysville, Kentucky. 10 years after MMA was brought to the area, an MMA event finally brought to the area. You see some great pro fights there towards the end, some emerging prospects, even an emerging prospect for Sean Asher's heavyweight title. You see hometown boy Brian McDowell with a huge victory, years in the making, years overdue for a pro debut. You see Jamal Muhammad with a flashy victory, pulled a little bit of everything out of the toolbox, and then you see the main event. Sean Asher defeats Anthony Trotter for the heavyweight championship. Sean Asher has had one of the best traveled fan bases in MMA, period. Would often travel hours to see him. This time they only have to travel about 20 minutes, and they came out in full force. You heard that reaction. You saw former UFC heavyweight champion, the first UFC heavyweight champion, Mark the Hammer Coleman, endorsing the first Empire Fight Series heavyweight champion, Sean Asher, en route to an emotional victory years after he was last seen in the cage. For Sean Ross Sapp, this has been Empire Fight Series. We thank you for joining us.